Georgia's been doing some tremendous work. She's a wildlife campaigner, and she's also got her own blog as well, which is fantastic, Georgia's Wildlife Watch. Here she is, Georgia.
So this March, the event this time, well, last year, it was a bit earlier last year. It was the March part of it was like the first March that I went on, and since I've been on so many more, and I've heard some of the I've heard the speakers again who were heard speak last year. And on the day I was really sort of inspired by all of the energy, and beforehand I couldn't have imagined sort of how exhilarating and how hopeful it really was, because due to the sheer amount of people that were here and sort of joining together for this mutual cause, which is of course protecting our natural environment and protecting our wildlife. So I'm really sort of pleased to speak here today. So due to all the campaigners that were speaking, what they were talking about, what they do, I learned the true meaning of putting words into action by those, and they're campaigning for things today and also for in the future too, long-term impacts, and look into the future. I think something that I see as maybe overlooked even more so by decision makers, those in power, leaders, than current issues today. And as a young naturalist, this is something that I think of looking to the future more than anything else, and it's something that I'm concerned about for my generation. When they're older, they're going to be the ones having to deal with this, and also they're not going to be able to enjoy nature as we do today, and the different species what we see today and what we've seen in the past too as much. And already in my lifetime, sort of 17 years, I've seen changes, and I'm sure sort of a lot others have as well, from political ones and ones associated completely with humans. For example, we've got hen harriers, rat persecution hen harriers, so a bird which is really sort of on the brink, and this year is probably another year of nest failures, and really sort of worryingly close to not having that fantastic bird flying in our countryside. And also more familiar species, well-known ones, the birds we see in the garden, declining, loss of habitat. And when I sort of read through things, I hear about things, statistics, suggesting declines in the future, it's exhausting really, sort of reading all of these and thinking what's going to happen for generations in the future. And I can't just be selfish in thinking my generation, because it's about thinking 100, 200, 300 years into the future, and making decisions in regarding harm to the environment. So obviously, unfortunately, in the distant future, there are going to be problems which face the natural environment. But as I've just mentioned, some of the obvious ones, and history repeating itself, such as Cull and badgers. Obviously, don't get me wrong, there's been success stories we see in the past, and there will be in the future too. But who runs these success stories? Well, it's always people. People are the ones that we get. Well, humans are the ones which get us into the mess, and sometimes they're the ones which can help get us out. Not always, but they're the ones that help to get us out. But it's so from scientists recognising declines, conservationists taking action, and then campaigners going out, engaging people and driving the support needed. However, something that really worries me, and I see sort of every day, every single day, is the lack of children and young people who are interested in nature. I know some really really exceptional young naturalists and young wildlife campaigners, but as a whole, my generation, some a bit older, some a bit young, and ones coming through, are and have lost that connection with the outdoors. I mean, if you listen to these, so only these are ones that I've had sometimes use an example. So only 21% of 8 to 12-year-olds are connected to nature. Now, that's an age group, 8 to 12-year-olds, where they haven't been influenced by sort of mainstream social norms, and they do go outside, they do what they want to do. So it is really that's a scary figure. And also, if you compare that to the past, so parents of this generation, when they were younger, 71% of parents sort of went out and interacted with nature, whilst only today we've got their children, only 26% are doing that, following the steps, doing the same thing. So children today are spending half as many hours as less than half as many hours than their parents did. But obviously, this is really scary, and but why is it so important that we are getting young people involved? And obviously, children going outside, they're exploring the natural world, they're fascinated by. And then they're being fascinated by it, seeing different things, experience things, and just remembering that forever. And they're developing an interest, and they become passionate about that. And when they're passionate about it, that's what it's all about. Because then they care, they want to do something, they want to have an influence, whether that's then or when they're throughout their lives, from simple things in their gardens or on a small scale to supporting campaigns, or even most importantly being aware and not oblivious to ongoings throughout the whole of their lives. So without this, I mean, what would it be like in years' time if things carry on the way we could? I mean, we could face a generation that are just completely detached from nature, and they're completely oblivious, and they don't and unconsidering. So we've got, to compare even more so compared to today's older generations, bearing in mind these were people who, when they were younger, they went outside more, they were encouraged to go outside more, they didn't have as many distractions, there weren't things, so examples, technology, computers or anything like that, and they went out more, yet we could see this decreasing even more. And one last thing I'd just like to sort of mention. So, obviously, next week on Monday, we've got 25th to the 2nd of July, National Badger Week. And running on the last day on the Saturday in Stafford, not far away, we've got a day of events. We've got a march. We've got a load of speakers. We've got different things for children, which will have quite a festival type feel to that. And you can find out more on the website and social media. So it'll be a great day. Thank you.